The question for discussion: role of the civil service. Role of the civil service comes in General Studies paper 2, and it's also a common topic in political science and international relations. The question for discussion: political interference, outdated procedure, mixed record on policy implementation characterize the civil service in India. Highlight the structural reforms required. 150 words, 15 marks. So this particular question which we have taken for discussion pertains to a unit in General Studies paper 2, role of the civil service. So the question highlights three factors which characterize the functioning of the civil service in India: political interference, outdated procedure, and mixed record on policy implementation. Highlight the structural reforms required. 150 words, 15 marks. So first we have a general introduction. Corruption and politicization characterize the functioning of the civil service in India. We start an introduction like that. When I speak of politicization of the civil service, I mean how, as we have said, there are two types of executive: the permanent executive and the political executive. The permanent executive comprises the civil service. The political executive comprises of the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, the political executive, prepares policy based on the inputs given by the civil service, and the implementation of the programs is done by the civil service. The political executive monitors or supervises the functioning of the civil service in India. So, with this introduction, we go to what are the reforms required in the functioning of the civil service. Because the question already says political interference, outdated procedure, mixed record on policy implementation. So here the answer would be only on the structural reforms required to improve the functioning of the civil service. Among the structural reforms required, the first reform which we would indicate in our answer would be lowering the entry age for recruitment. See, now the entry for recruitment, people get in at a very late age, especially people coming under reservation. So once they get in at a late age, it is difficult to mold them. So the basic principle would be, once the civil servant joins at a young age, if the entry age is lowered, catch them young, they can be easily molded, and they'll have a lengthier service, lengthier term of service. Lowering entry age for recruitment is one of the recommendations, one of the structural reforms required. Mandatory training for promotion. We have seen in the civil services how promotion is automatic. So this should not be there, because what would happen is, once the incumbent knows that promotion is automatic, he will take everything for granted, and there are also chances that he will not be able to deliver his best. So mandatory training for promotion would imply that basic training, so that to assess the various skills he has, the competence he has, this is required before a candidate is promoted to the higher scale. Improve performance-based assessment. Improving performance-based assessment, especially when the civil servant is to be assessed for promotion, the several parameters should be assessed: whether he is capable of delivering on the job, what is his attitude towards the vulnerable groups, what is his attitude towards the superiors, subordinates, his colleagues. So all this counts for performance assessment. So unless the performance assessment is good, the incumbent should not be promoted. Safeguards to promote accountability. By this I mean, the civil servant should be given the necessary leeway to perform. He should be protected. He should be, at the same time, while he is protected, say from arbitrary dismissal, there should also be safeguards to promote Accountability. How far is he accountable for his work? How far is he accountable for his performance? In this, I would like to mention the Communal Violence Bill, which is pending in Parliament. In the Communal Violence Bill, Prevention of Communal Violence Bill, there is a clause which says if the civil servant is found absent from the place of his work, especially during the time of communal violence, the civil servant will not only be deprived of his personal, the retirement benefits and other cash and the other benefits which he will get, but he will also be arrested and he will have to undergo conviction. So this is a very severe clause in the prevention of communal violence bill. Unfortunately, this has not come through, but this is a safeguard to promote accountability, protect bureaucrats from political meddling. Now, in the present parliamentary system which we are following, the political element has got a dominant role in the determining the candidates, the postings of the civil servant, his promotion. So all this, what is happening is there's heavy politicization, and in certain states like Karnataka, where the caste lobby is very powerful. So if a candidate, if an incumbent does not belong to the major caste groups, he becomes marginalized. He is marginalized. So there is a need to protect the bureaucrats from political meddling. There is a need for an independent civil service board to monitor the issues relating to promotion, issues relating to transfer. Implement the recommendations of the second ARC. The second ARC has given a lot of recommendations, and in fact, there is a recommendation on the chapter on good governance. So there should be a time-bound implementation of the recommendations of the second ARC. The second ARC has suggested to establish a National Institute of Public Administration to cultivate a new pool of aspiring civil service aspirants. So by this, what I mean is a National Institute of Public Administration should be established. So as the student is reading for his degree, he will be imbibed with the values, he will be imbibed with the knowledge of how to prepare. So he gets ready to join into the team of the civil services. So this National Institute of Public Administration is to impart skills, training skills, and cultivate a new pool of civil service aspirants. This is an important recommendation made by the second ARC. Minimum tenure for senior posts. This is also an important structural reform which is required. Like we have seen how in many senior posts the incumbent does not even enjoy a year in the post which he is supposed to serve. In many places, in many instances, even in Karnataka, my state, I have seen how a bureaucrat is transferred every 3 months. The honest bureaucrat being transferred every 3 months. Senior bureaucrats. So unless you have a minimum tenure for senior posts, the civil service cannot be expected to perform. Safeguards against arbitrary dismissal. Of course, Article 311 is there, which protects the civil service, which gives constitutional guarantee against arbitrary dismissal, but necessary safeguards are required. Lateral entry. No, lateral entry has been working in a very small way at the level of the additional secretary. So lateral entry, by getting the experts from other fields to enter, will give a new dimension to the civil service. So these are the structural reforms required for the better performance of the civil service. Now, what has the government done as far as the functioning of the civil service? Evaluation based on functional skills, domain expertise, behavioral competence, integrity. So this is an important step taken by the government in which performance assessment is based on functional skills, domain expertise, behavioral competence, and integrity. So these three are acquired on the job, and the civil servant will equip himself with better functional skills, domain expertise, behavioral competence, and of course integrity. So these are the parameters set for performance assessment so that the civil servant can discharge his duties better and become an effective element of service delivery. Unfit be retired after a 25-year review. So once the incumbent completes 25 years of review, the provisions for compulsory retirement. We have seen of late the government playing a key role by removing senior bureaucrats in key departments. I remember some time back in the certain chief commissioners of income tax were removed overnight. The benefits were given to them and they were asked to go home. No notice, nothing. So removal of senior bureaucrats in key departments helps a lot in civil service reform. And finally, what I would like to suggest in this answer is among the structural reforms required, there is a separate chapter by the second ARC in which it speaks of protecting the honest civil servant. So unless the honest civil servant is protected, nothing can be done to improve the state of the civil service. The honest civil servant should be protected against political meddling. He should be protected against arbitrary dismissal. He should be given the leeway to perform, and the integrity of the civil servant should be respected. There should be a system of incentives wherein the performance is evaluated, and there is a choice and there is a chance for specialization. Very often we see when a civil servant is trained in a key issue, key point of reform, he will not get a chance to implement the same, as he will be posted to some other department where the skills acquired in his previous assignment will not matter. So these are the structural reforms required in the functioning of the civil service, and unless the structural reforms are carried out by the government in a time-bound manner, the functioning of the civil service is jeopardized. So, for a question on the role of the civil service, we started with an introduction. We pointed out how corruption and politicization characterize the functioning of the civil service in India. Then we spoke of the structural reforms. In the structural reforms, you should highlight the role of the second ARC, and governance. Then the second ARC recommendation on National Institute of Public Administration, lowering the entry age, behavioral competency, minimum tenure for senior posts, lateral entry. These are the higher reforms which should be highlighted in your answer, the structural reforms wherein you can bring about efficiency in the working of the civil service. Government initiatives, we speak of the evaluation based on functional skills, domain expertise, behavioral competence, integrity. Then the unfit be retired after a 25-year review. Removal of senior bureaucrats in key departments is a new initiative taken by the government to weed out the corrupt and people who are not performing. So finally, I sum up my discussion by saying that if the civil service has to play a dominant role, the performers should be rewarded and the non-performers should be punished. Reward the performers, punish the non-performers. Unless radical steps like these are taken, the civil service will have a mixed record on policy implementation. Thank you.